Good afternoon, everyone. This is Grey Wolf here with Grey Wolf's Gaming Corner, and I'm just going to do a play session in my Tier 7 FSV SCHA. I'm working towards the Saladin, and I've got about 20k experience on this thing so far. It's pretty tough to play well so far as I've played it. I think I put up a video. If I haven't put that video up yet, I had a really good game in the Scorpion and in the Tier 8 Premium G-Sor wheeled tank. A decent game. And I think I did a video with both of those the other day. If I haven't put that up yet, it's in my list to do. And surprisingly, it was a really good game in the G-Sor because I typically, for me personally, I think we may have, I can't remember if we lost or won, but I know I died previous to us winning the game either way. But I personally had decent damage, had some pretty good fights in there where I think I made the right play a couple of times and it worked out. So that video is either in the pipeline or it's on the channel. I'll have to look back and see, but basically the G-Sor is the premium version of the Tier 8 in this line, and I would like to get to the regular Tech Tree Tier 8. That was one of my goals going into the holiday ops, was to do so, and I wound up spending the experience on a couple other things. I did wind up opening up the Swedish Tank Destroyer line, and I got a bunch of tanks from the loot boxes, so I've been a little distracted playing some of this other stuff and trying to do that. And honestly, this tank to me has been really tough to figure out. It's kind of like an anti-scout, I guess. You guys will see me throwing a lot of premium ammo. I justify that when I'm trying to grind a tank to grind a tank line. I think it just helps make the grind go a little faster. And yeah, you can hear I did put Vinny in this thing. Don't ask me why. It was the only British line I guess I'm grinding right now, so I felt like it fit. And I think it's kind of an oxymoron to have big old Vinny in some little tiny shit box like this. So I thought it was funny. But yeah, I'm just struggling to figure out, I guess, what this tank's role is. Does it scout? Does it is it an anti-scout? You know, what is it supposed to do? What is its role in this game? And at this point, I'm not really sure, you know. Probably could have gone up a little bit more. I'd like to take this guy's wheel out, but I'd like to do it when I'm not going to get spotted. Man, I'll tell you what, that is a tempting shot not to take. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I'm just sitting there, not getting any damage, so Wait till I'm not spotted anymore. Oh. I think I'm being blind fired. Jingle their bells. This tank, it's like, you have to do some damage in it. If you just sit back and don't do any damage, you know, you're not going to get much out of the game. And see, I'm going to keep shooting this guy if he's going to keep poking, because he can see me no matter what. So I'd rather just keep shooting him if he's going to keep poking. And he's not going to come up here. Okay, well, I'll take that. So I'm not doing a ton of damage over here. Oh, he can't hit me. I thought I was too low, but I guess not. So I'm trying to think here. I know I need to move up to spot. But I don't want to get killed if I can avoid it. Okay, so nobody's shooting, so now it's the time to push with these guys, I think. So what I found with this little tank is you really have to play cautiously. You don't want to be the frontline tank. If you can spot passively like I did from a bush and get some decent damage, well, great. But you don't want to be the only one pushing. And, you know, at this point, there's 2 tanks left. There's no reason not to push. May as well push up to the cap, see if we can maybe get some damage on these guys as they retreat. But, you know, it's not... see if I can get a couple shots in on this guy. Yeah, get some damage in. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're shooting pillows at him. Yeah, see, and if you get in a situation like this, you know, you can do decent damage, but it's rare to get into a situation like this. Oh, I probably can't get through these rocks. Maybe not. Maybe I can. Okay. We'll see if we can come on the outside here. Nope, no time. No time. Okay, no worries. Good game. But, yeah, I mean, you get into a situation like that where you can just sit and kind of pick at stuff, and you can spot a little bit. This tank does okay. But it's really tough to find what the specific role of these tanks is. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know they're supposed to be sniper tanks, and this thing has a pretty poppy little gun there. You guys can see I did decent damage. Nothing to write home about, but not bad. Not a bad little go. And I'm out of those. I don't have a gun rammer. I don't have vents, so let's switch to crew. We'll do concealment. Concealment in this thing's always good. I mean, they're small tanks, so even though their concealment values aren't great, these little ones here, like tier 7, I think the tier 8's about the same. I think you could build a pretty solid concealment build and kind of treat this thing like a little. If I had to say it, I think the role of these is kind of like a little passive scout sniper tank. So kind of like a Type 64 or something like that, where you can get into position, you can treat this thing like a little turreted TD, and you can't bush somewhere that's in an aggressive position. Use your speed to get to an aggressive position, and then play from there. And there's tanks that do that better in this game. Namely, the French wheeled tanks could do the same thing. But I think you would be losing out to do that with a French wheelie, because French wheelies are just more versatile. They don't have to stay stationary. They can actively scout and probably do a better job at it than most other scout tanks in the game. If you put the wheelie in their own category, they're not technically a tank. But those things are faster with their turbo ability or whatever. They're just faster to get around than any other vehicle in the game. So they can do that active role better than this British line can by leaps and bounds. What the British line has is they're a tank that has wheels, essentially. They can go a little bit faster than most of their counterparts. They can get into a position and they can lay down some decent fire. They can put up some decent spotting numbers on an advancing flank. And that's kind of what in my opinion, that's what their role is. And I don't know. I think it fits. I think there's a place for that in this game that's not really filled right now. But it's a pretty narrow slot, right? It's a pretty narrow functionality slot in World of Tanks. So I don't think these are bad tanks. I think that maybe the position they've been designed to fill is very, very, very narrow, and not necessarily one that's not already filled by other stuff in the game. So if I had to say if I like or don't like these tanks, I think they're good little tanks. I think they do an all right job. But I do feel like they're fulfilling a role that's relatively narrow. Now look at me in comparison to this CS52. I'm going pedal to the metal, and I'm just barely ahead of them. Now granted, that's a pretty fast medium tank, and I'm doing 65 up this hill. I'm no slouch. 62 now, but you know, these are reasonably mobile wheelies. They're kind of supposed to be, I think, like a cross, right? Like a cross between the French wheelie and like a small TD, like a Super Hellcat. You know, their job is to roll into a position that's kind of forward facing, put up some vision, see if you can see the approaching lights or the approaching mediums, and they get taken out before they even get into position to go somewhere. So I spotted this Progetto. So let's see if people light him up while he's getting into position, because that's what they should be doing. And if that works and people do that and they okay, well, there's a Progetto coming, I know what to do, I'm prepared for it. Now I can move with that knowledge, and that's going to help me out. Well, great. Then that's what this tank is designed to do. And now, but you see, these mediums are essentially doing the same thing, and they have the ability to actually get rid of these tanks, whereas this little tiny gun on this little tier 7, it's not going to do that. It's not going to put the damage out to do that. So you have to play really smart. You have to play careful. You have to try to find those positions where you can counter spot, and you can kind of make yourself useful without putting yourself in harm's way. You know, if you can get up into a position like this and not get spotted, well, that's good. That's a good thing. That's what you need to do on this map. Get into a position where you're not going to get spotted, and put fire out on other positions. Look, now I'm lighting up their T-34-1, who's in the bush. He's not spotting me. He's not getting shot, which is the problem. So again, if people are going to take advantage of what you're doing, and you give your team vision and they can use that vision to do what they need to do so that they have a heads up of where the enemy's at and they can use that position, then great. That's what we need to do. I am going to shoot this guy because why? Because I got to keep him off my mediums. I got to give my mediums every opportunity to do what they need to do. I have to shoot him. I have to stay kind of obvious so that I can support. And I got spotted by something else. But you have to do that. You have to play aggressively so that you can cover your guys' butts. If you're not doing that, then you're not playing the tank right. Yeah, see, now the Super Hellcat's going to feed him to me. So we're probably going to lose this position. But the point is, what I'm doing works. If you're careful and you're smart, you can move up, get in position, and be that support role for your mediums. Be that support role for the medium tanks and make sure that your team has that forward position. And that's kind of what I've figured out with this thing. It's not perfect. It's not great. It's very specialized. It's very, very, very specialized. And I think that's probably true with this whole line. Is your job is to provide counter vision and give your medium tanks, specifically your flankers, an idea what they're running into. And so now this Hellcat's up here. So I may try to move up onto this hillside. And I don't know how smart that's going to be, because there's probably other stuff down in the middle. But I feel like we have to kind of do something to help our team. And if we're not playing aggressively, then we're not doing that. So yeah, see, I'm already spotted by something. I don't know what. But something spotted. Yeah, see, it's a Super Hellcat. And it's probably because of how I got into these bushes. Okay. He's dead. I got spotted. I don't want to die here. My goal was to spot what was across, but it looks like there's nothing across. So what we're going to do is try to get into the bush line on the far right here and see if we can kind of move up slowly and move into a position where we can spot without getting killed. Maybe we'll go short and go for these trees right here. Oh, never mind. I didn't even realize every other tank on their team was already dead. Never mind. Don't need to do that. But yeah, so if you play cautiously, like I didn't get a bunch of damage there. And I don't know how much spotting I got. Probably not much because those mediums moved up pretty quick. What I did do was before those mediums could even get into position, I gave them a kind of an idea of what was coming before they got to it. So again, not an outstanding game, but a victory, right? Let's take the win. But guys, I'm going to jump in and play some platoon games with my buddy. That's all I got for this one. I hope you enjoyed this little rundown on this Tier 7 British Wheelie, and I hope you guys give them a shot. I'm enjoying the line. I think you will too. Have a great day, guys.